My name is Kara, and I am interviewing Debbie. Is it Knuth or Knuth?
Yeah, so my name is Debbie Knuth, and so I live now with my boyfriend in Ohio, and I have two children, Marissa and Dylan, and I have been in practicing, um, I would say a practicing witch for about 26 years now, and I have gone on all these different paths, I guess you could say, and I've kind of dabbled in a lot of things. So I don't even know what I would call myself at this point because I've just
Mhm.
kind of tried this, tried that, tried this, tried that, and it isn't that I gave it up, it's that I took from it what I could learn and then I went on to something else to see what I could learn there. So I kind of have, I wouldn't even know what you would call me as far as my spiritual path right now, because I'm kind of a hashtag maybe. so,
Mm.
um, but yeah, I started along the way. Basically, was raised in a very strict Christian church background. Um, I was part of a Baptist church, and it was one of those that, like, one summer we came back from camp and we burned all our jeans and we burned our tapes and our records. Like, it was that extreme of a background that I was in.
Wow.
And I was raised in that. I went to Christian high schools, I went to Christian college, several of them actually. And I was even in seminary for like half a semester before I realized
Wow.
they don't like women in seminary, by the way. So, which is kind of why I went, to be honest with you. So,
Mhm.
but so I was very entrenched in Christianity, and I have nothing bad to say about it except that it was not for me. And I came to that realization, and I started questioning things, seeing things that didn't make sense to me, that things that don't vibe with you. You have to kind of follow what works for you. So I kind of got away from Christianity, and I started following Wicca. Wicca is, I would say, one of the best things to try if you're interested in looking into this type of stuff, I guess you could say, because it's not a lot of rules to it. It's very basic, and it kind of teaches you to explore your own spirituality without all the structure and form of a church setting. You know what I'm saying? So it really
Mhm.
helps me kind of start learning from there, and then I've kind of gone many places since then. But I
Mhm.
did start with Wicca, and I started like through Wicca, you discover who your deities are that you're going to work with, right? And I will say this too: I wasn't a part of a coven or anything like that. I basically am self-taught with everything that I've been doing, and so I use basically two books: Buckland's Big Blue Book, they call it, and Scott Cunningham's book of Wicca, I think it's called. But and I taught myself, and and so I went
Wow.
through those own. You're self-initiating yourself. You're setting up your own altar. You're discovering your own deities. You're
Mhm.
really doing all of this by yourself.
Mhm.
And so I didn't have any like that kind of teaching. So
Yeah.
I was always kind of being led, I guess, by myself, if that makes sense. Like,
Sure.
yeah, like
Sure.
following my intuitive side
Intuition. Yeah.
with
Yeah.
everything. So,
Yeah. I,
but I bring that up because the two deities that I chose to work with was significant, because I chose Cernunnos, who's the Celtic god of the forest, the woods, herbs, things like that, which I connect
Good
to.
choice.
Yeah, exactly. And it still affects my work today because I connected there with that herbal, earthy side. And then the other side was Hecate, and she's the goddess of the crossroads. She's the goddess of liminal spaces. She works with the dead. She's there's so much to say, but
Yeah. Yes.
so
Yes.
and I
Yeah.
still through those that initial development with those two spirits, is kind of where I've gotten to now. And I can just totally see that development if I look backwards now, to look at that.
Sure.
So,
Yeah,
but
it sounds like a long journey.
it's been, yeah,
Yeah,
it
yes.
really definitely has.
Can I ask you,
Sure.
how old were you when you made that transition, like out of Christianity, or how old were you when you started seeing things maybe from that perspective, like a different
Um,
perspective, or recognize that there was something else going on?
so I was trying to figure out age wise or how long ago, and it was about 20. I've been doing this for about 26 years. So, and I probably won't tell you my age, but it was about, it was probably about 20 in my like outside of college when I left college. So about 24 or 5, somewhere in there, that I started on this journey instead and changed kind of directions altogether and haven't regretted it ever since. So,
Yeah.
yeah. But then like through working with Hecate has led me to what I do now, which is scrying. Because she is the one who is she's kind of she's a gatekeeper. So there's a lot of different deities that serve this role where they're between this world and the next.
Mhm.
And through Hecate, you can open and you can learn to open these gates so that you have access to the spirits. And I that's basically what I do with scrying. So to explain scrying,
Yeah,
scrying is yeah.
please explain scrying for
Okay,
everybody.
yeah,
Thank
scrying
you.
is it's a thing. It's so scrying is it basically means to peer, is to scry. You're peering into something, looking into something. And you can look into whatever you choose, really. And it's to get you into this state of mind um, where you can connect to spirits. And then you can go into the other realms and then you can receive messages. They can use it for divination, but it's really more about spirit contact, I believe. And there's many different ways you can do this. Like, I mean, you can scry through fire and smoke, and you could scry through a bowl of water, which is what I started with. Bowl of water with a black bottom to it. You can, and you basically are just going to stare and focus into this object or the moving fire or flame. And then you ask your questions and then you try to like, and it's very difficult to explain because you're not focused. It's like a unfocused focus
Mhm.
because if you focus too hard, you're not going to get there. So you have to kind of bring it in, but then let it go. It's very kind of hard to describe. But do you have?
Can I ask you if, and thank you so much for sharing that.
Sure. You're welcome.
And I know you and I have had a lot of really good conversations, I feel, regarding connecting with the spirit world in ways that I don't think it's easy to connect with people in that way, like how we've discussed, and it sounds like to me, like what you're describing to me is similar to when I do my journeys. It's, but it's usually a drum beat or another form of sound that has a specific rhythm that takes me into that state of like a trance.
Right.
And um, we also, there's an eye cover that shamans wear that shows like part of it's like got like it's like a curtain essentially.
Oh.
So it's like you're seeing between two
Mhm.
realms, right? You're doing the inward and the outward, and so you're getting your visions and stuff like that. It's putting you in a state of in between. And
Yes. Same thing.
yeah, and then
Yeah.
and that's how I get there, and I go into, either the underworld or the upper or middle. And it's so interesting to hear how you get there. And I have a question.
Sure. Good.
How do you feel about the um the sacredness of the act that you're doing. Like, how do you encompass, because I know you have a lot of reverence, for the deities you work with and
Yes.
for the craft. So how
Right.
do you sort of like, could you explain maybe part of that reverence aspect you add? Thank you.
Yeah, well, it also depends who you're talking to. So like I
Yeah,
think right,
sure.
yes, but yes, there should be a reverence for any of these spirits that come through because for one, they're taking the time to talk to you. Now, one thing I want to say is the way I do it through a black mirror. That's how I do my scrying. And I hear, which is different. Most people see, and I started to see things and then it's changed. And now it's more of
Mm,
a words coming in my head and I write them down and that's how I communicate. Um, so to me, if a spirit, especially if there's one I'm looking to talk to, has taken time, to talk to me, I don't know. I feel like they have a very busy life. They're very busy up there.
probably.
But just to take that time to spend with me and answer my questions or guide me or lead me in any way, I feel that alone deserves a certain amount of respect and reverence. I
Mhm.
also see with scrying, especially, you tend to connect to higher spirits. They're not necessarily your grandma. I mean, they could be, but typically with scrying, you're going to go a little higher to some higher spirits. And in my view, these spirits are higher because of how long they've been around, or some of them have lived this life already and have like chosen to teach us now. So they have you are automatically have to give them that respect because they've already gone through whatever we're going through, and or they have the knowledge that we don't have, or they've been around for maybe eternity. I don't know. It seems like it, but so there has to be that respect given just for who they are,
Mhm.
and the the that they've chosen to help us. They didn't have to do that. You know what I
Right.
mean? So
Yeah.
there, I would say to give respect and honor to them for that. You could treat them like badly, but don't expect to receive anything positive back for it. You know what I mean? Like it's not
Yeah. Yeah.
necessary, but
Yeah.
but you're not going to get what you put into it. So
Right. Right. That's such a good point.
yeah.
Depending on who you're working with, and it and you can be speaking like gods, goddesses, ascended masters, like all kinds of different spirits that come through. What is the most surprising spirit, whether it's somebody that we would recognize or just in general? What's the most surprising experience maybe you've had, or surprising spirit that has come across during a scrying,
Oh
or
boy.
any divination sort of thing?
Okay. I just had so many because I had the privilege to talk to like so many spirits that I never would think they would talk to me for one, you know. So I'd have to think about that for a minute. I My first thought would be Hades, um,
Mm,
because he is not as he's represented. So it was a surprise for me for him to come through my mirror and to start talking to me. And I was just like, you hear the name, and often I'll tell you this, I'll go through the whole scrying. They'll give me all this conversation, all this information, and at the end they tell me who they are. So a lot of times it's like,
oh.
oh, I was talking to Hades this whole time, and it's better that way because I don't come with my expectations of who Hades is. And
Mhm.
so no, he's funny. He tells jokes. He's like just a totally different personality than what we were imagining for Hades. You know what I mean? And it kind of told me a lot too that there's something about he does deal with the underworld, so he does also deal with the dead. And there
Mhm.
is something about when you're dealing with the dead, you have to have a little bit of that lightness to you, because it'll like, it can be overwhelming, and
Yeah.
it can be too dark or too
Yeah.
low or too whatever. And I've come across these spirits that deal with the dead, and they're always like that. They're funny, they crack jokes. There's like
Mm.
Papa Legba, he's hilarious, like like I've talked to the Baron Samedi. He's known as a trickster, and the reason they're like this is because they have to bring in that lightness when you're dealing with
Mm.
the dead, and that
Mhm.
lowness. It's like a low frequency, if you will, and they're
Mhm.
bringing it up by joking or laughing or being tricky. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. That
yes.
that makes sense. That's such an interesting point. Because you do have to, I feel in my experience that be you have to know your ascension. Like you have to be able to reach, really have a large reach spiritually, to be able to work with the lower frequencies, to do
Yeah.
the work, right? Like you can get stuck there for lifetimes, right?
Yeah.
But if you're doing work there, or you're working with spirits there, you have to know what's on the other side. And you like bring that sort of, I totally get what you're saying. I love how you put it. That's so interesting. I love you're sharing so many aspects, like perspectives that I've never heard before, and it's really refreshing. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Let me ask, uh, what kind of people do you like your clients? Is there like a typical type of client that comes to you? Like what do people come to you for, I guess? Is there anything specific, or what type of people come to you in any way?
So I've not really been out there, I guess you could say. I just have conversed with friends and through Facebook, and um through Illuminate for one, and through other companies like that, are just really my Facebook friends that I've tend to gather throughout the years and stuff. And so it's just been really through friends that I've been doing this for. And it's the scryings I do for them. I basically just open up the mirror. Sometimes they have questions, sometimes they don't. And I just open up the mirror and say, I would like their guides to come and talk to me and tell me something about their life that's going to help them right now.
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
basically that. And then I just write it all out. I really feel like I'm not doing anything. I'm just like the secretary. So I just listen, I write it down, and I pass it along. So I feel like it really just the messenger, so I'm
Mhm.
just doing
Yeah.
my thing.
Yeah.
Um, so it's not any like particular client. I really don't even charge very much, to be honest, for what's out
Hmm.
there. So
Yeah.
I just do it as a service mainly, and the
Hmm.
reason I even charge is just there's that exchange idea. There is something to that. And for the time that's
Yeah.
put into it, there should be an exchange. And so I don't feel, wrong about doing that. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely.
So,
And everybody I have ever like seen, all the feedback you get is really, really positive. I mean, I've had a few, it's always been really enlightening, and just like it's really incredible what you do, and I'm always so grateful. And
yeah.
everybody I talk to is the same way, like it's like we know that what you're saying is coming from like an authentic place. It's not like you're deciding to make up the rest, which you have to. I had an interesting conversation with somebody the other day, and they were talking about the ethics in the industry.
Oh,
um,
yes. Yeah.
yeah.
I am very careful to check. I check with almost everyone I give a message to if it meant something, if it hit in some way. Because to me, I don't have to do any of this. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
and if it's not affecting or helping anyone, I want to know that, so
Yeah.
that, I can have
Yeah.
my weekends free, so,
Right.
you know,
Right.
like,
Right.
but yeah, it's important to me that it be authentic. And so I'm
Mhm.
always like really trying to do that to make sure that it is. So,
um Do the guides of others always reveal who they are?
No, actually they don't. Sometimes I'll go through the scrying, like I said, and then I'll get the name at the end. Sometimes there's no name, and I'll be like, "Hello," and they're already gone. So a lot of times they
Mm.
do not, and sometimes I think it's either they're not ready to reveal themselves fully yet as a guide, or they maybe they're not ready for it. The person may not be ready for it,
Mhm.
or maybe it's just really not important, like where it's coming from or who it's coming from. Um, but I do believe all the ones, the spirits I connect to, do connect to those people. I believe in bringing the right spirits to the right people, that
Mhm.
connection. Um, because it seems to always resonate. And so, but I feel that we have so many like guides, and some of them they come and they go. They're not always there. There are some that are there, probably many lifetimes over. Um, but it's just amazing to me that we have so much on the other side helping us, now in our lives. Like it's really kind of amazing that so many spirits are, how do you put it? Can't think of the word. They put their energy into us. They put their time into us. They protect us. They show us what to do next,
Mhm.
and it's amazing how many there are. I've been told a few times through scrying, like, quit feeling like you're by yourself, because you're never by yourself. You're never alone, you know, and that applies to everybody. So,
Mhm.
but,
I wonder if you feel the way I do. I feel like my spirits, like the spirits I'm with all the time, my guides, and such. I I know I rely on them more than, I don't know, my human relationships. I
yeah, yeah.
they're Yeah, they're reliable.
Mhm.
And they have your back, and they're going to be honest. I mean, you have to watch, right? You do have to use discernment with certain things, of course.
Yeah, definitely. I will say that if you're going to do any scrying work, um, I would suggest you learn a little bit first. And you have to have some protection, and you have to learn, like you said, discernment, because anybody can honestly come through that mirror and tell you whatever they want. It's up for you to realize if that's true or not. And that's
Mhm.
why I always ask the person I'm doing a reading for, did that ring true? Did that hit? Because we want to make sure we're getting truth, because there's a
Yeah.
lot of spirits out there just like to talk.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. Yes. Just like people,
just like people, not like people. Yeah, it's true.
Do you think that Oh, well, first of all, I was going to ask you what you use for protection, if anything specific. And what was I going to ask you just now? I think it'll come back, but um, oh, this is a question I wanted to ask.
Yeah.
When you are getting information and you have to be discerning, do you like feel it in your body? Like where, like, what that's right or that's wrong? Does it hit you anywhere in your, like, in your energy body or your physical body, so that or is it more of like a belief or a knowing?
So I kind of have, um, I guess, developed something before I even scry, because I've learned how to do discernment. But it doesn't come to me as I'm scrying. I've already, I guess, settled it. So when I open up my mirror, I say, like, only truth can be told here, and no spirits can come
Mm,
through. I already setting the intention, like, up front, that you can't lie to me. You can't you can't give me false
mhm.
information. Like, I've already set that up before I even start to scry. And then, so as far as feeling it while I'm receiving it, no, not really. I will receive it all, because I can't really switch. If I start
Yeah.
trying to discern when I'm receiving, it'll stop that flow, and I might lose it. So I can't really do that. I have to just take it all in, And then afterwards, yes, I'll look at it. And if something doesn't feel right, I have had very few times, but a couple times I've done scrying and I read it over and it didn't feel right. And something fell off on it. So
Hmm.
I just scrapped that one and I redid it. And then that was improved. That was on target. So yeah, there have been times like that. As far as like how to explain that discernment, like how it comes across, I don't even know how you would. You
Right.
just
It's a
learn.
hard thing to describe.
Yeah, you just have to learn. The thing about it is really all based on your intuition.
Mhm.
And intuition can be developed by anybody. We all have it. So if we learn to just listen to it without saying, oh, that's not important, or, bypassing it. And it can be something simple. Like I find this happens to me. I'll be at the store, right? And you're looking at something and you're like, see that thing. And you're like, I should get that. And then your mind says, oh, we still have some, I think. And then you go home and then you're like, oh my gosh, I should have gotten that. You know what I mean? That's
Mhm.
intuition. It's not a big thing, but you learn to
Mhm.
develop it where when you see it, you're like, yeah, I better get it. You know what I mean? You don't
Mhm.
question. When you start to question these things, um, you can lose it. So it's a like process, honestly.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I also believe in kind of testing things that you're received. So if you get some message about something, um, you give it time to see if it comes to pass. And if it's a message that you're not sure of, you can ask, can you show me more about this message? And then I go by the threes. Like if you receive something 3 times, like that's connected to that message, like symbols or pictures, or somebody says something and it triggers what you receive. That's a way of testing it. So I do those types of things as well. So I don't know if that answered your question or
Yeah, no, it's great. It's
not.
great.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. So you wait for the signs and synchronicities to align, and then you go with that because
Yeah.
that's what you're getting. Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
totally get that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You have to learn
Um,
to trust yourself, basically.
yeah, yes, you're absolutely right. For anybody who's learning to develop their intuition, it's an excellent message that when you have those moments of self doubt, you have to learn to retrain your mind.
Mhm.
It's a training process, in my opinion. It's connecting, moving through all like that other noise, right, and the subconscious chatter and the things we tell ourselves, right, the self-doubt and all the other stuff.
Right.
So
Right.
moving through that, yeah. And what do you do for protection? Is there something specific you do for protection before you work? And is there something you do like mentally before a session? Like how long are your sessions typically? Thank you.
So protection, I work with a spirit for protection. I have a guardian spirit. When I do my mirror work, my scrying mirror work, I work with Hecate. She is my protection, and she is also the one I use to open up my mirror session. So she's a gatekeeper, so it makes sense. She's the one who's going to open the gate and close the gate. And so that's how I set it up. I say, I ask Hecate to open up the gate. And then I say to the spirits, Hecate guards the gates. Any messages you give me need to be true. And then I don't allow any spirits to come through. That's important too. If you're dealing with mirrors are gateways both ways. They can go both ways. This is what I'm talking about. Why you need some
Mhm.
protection. It's not for the faint. so
Right.
Right, yeah. But with me, with Hecate, if she's guarding the gate, no, they're not going to mess with her. So, like, I feel very confident that I'm good, using and invoking her name when I'm doing the session. So that's she's my guardian for that.
That's
And then,
great.
yeah, as far as preparing, That's basically what I do to prepare. I have to get comfortable and I have to be in my zone. I'm in my little scrying den here. so
Mhm.
I just kind of relax and open it up, and I just wait till I hear a word, and then the word starts, and then I just write it all down, and it goes as long as it goes. Sometimes they're fairly long. I would say maybe 30 minutes, maybe longer sometimes. So it's just kind of, I just write until I run out of things to write. I also get little hints while I'm receiving the messages that I'm on target. So one of them is if I start to rhyme, I know I'm on target
Oh, wow. That's
because
interesting.
because I can't rhyme. You know what I mean? Like I am not a rhymer. So
Hmm.
if someone's giving me a message and it's starting to rhyme and flow, that's not me. Or if I'm receiving words I don't even know, I have to look them up afterwards
Mm,
because I don't know them.
mm,
Like a lot of the angels, I've spoken to angels and they have this higher language, like in general, like they're just, they're very intelligent and they're very well spoken. And so when you're writing, you can always tell halfway through, I'll be like, oh, I'm talking to an angel right now, because I can tell from the way they speak, their language. So that'll give me a hint. Another
mm,
thing that happens sometimes is I'll be writing and I'll be about to choose one word for it, and then it changes to another word, and it's almost like giving me a choice. Do you want to use this word
interesting.
or do you want to use that word? And
Mm,
so, but
interesting.
anytime that happens, I feel like I'm connected. Like I don't know. So I have like these little hints and clues that I'm, you know, receiving. So
Yeah. I've noticed the language change, like I've seen that those patterns switch or like that totally makes sense. I always wondered, and I knew you worked with different spirits, but like the way you're describing it is really helpful to receive, so when you're receiving it after you've sent it and everything.
yeah.
um
Yeah.
yeah. Is there a, let's see, how do you ever have to like over like get help people overcome like them being skeptical or anything like that, or have you had people get like really upset over things that have come through, or do you just kind of give them their
So the nice thing about what I do is I do it at home.
uh-huh,
I don't have to be like face to face with someone and
sure.
have their reaction, in front of me. I don't. So I do it at home and I write it out and I send it, and I'll check with them. Did this sound true? Did this ring true? Is there something there that match? After that, my hands are on. Like I did my work. You know what I mean? It's for
Mhm.
them to either receive it or to not receive it, and that's fine. If they don't want to, that's fine too. Maybe they weren't ready to, maybe
Yeah.
it'll come up later, so I don't really concern myself with that. And I think it is harder though if you're doing one-on-one readings, because I have done that in the past. I just don't do that because with scrying, it's hard to receive and then talk to a person. It's like hard to do both.
Yeah, yeah, sure,
I'm just not
sure.
that, I guess, good at it yet, where I could do that at the same time. Because then this person wants your attention, and you're like
Right.
trying to get all this information. And yeah, it's very difficult for me. So it's much better for me just to do it at home and to send it out. Um, but yeah, I know that it can be hard. I've done those readings before in front of people, and they'll be like, you could see the wall come up, or they say, no, that's not true. That never happened, or whatever. And I've experienced that. And really, you just have to be like, that's what I'm getting. And also, I'm sorry, but this isn't exact science here. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we do the best we can, but it's
Hmm.
like, you're seeing through a glass darkly. Everything is like, it's as clear as we can get it, but it's not like I actually talking on the phone, so people
Hmm.
need to really understand that if they come in with that kind of an attitude, or they're skeptical, then maybe this not for you. Maybe it's just not. So I don't
Right.
know. That's the way I see it. I don't think people should be so concerned with that. They
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
so
Um, the right people find your
yeah,
services is how I
exactly.
feel. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Um, what uh what like is there any like personal lessons that scrying has taught you um in particular, or is is there something like that you want to share that has been, you know, more on a more personal level, like what doing this type of work has like taught you, I guess is how I want to put it. I don't
Well,
know.
I'll have to say anything I've learned, spiritual knowledge has come through my scrying. It's not like through books. It's not through, videos. I have learned them almost directly from the spirits talking to me. And like I wouldn't know anything, I feel, if I hadn't, you know, received this opportunity to do this, And yeah, so I mean, Hecate has been my teacher, you know, um, since I started, like for 26 years. So, like, yeah, so there's just so much that I've learned just directly from her. I've learned spells, I've learned how to use different herbs with Knuth speaking to me. I've learned the nature of the universe. I've learned what God is like. Like, I mean, I've learned like lots of stuff. And I am writing a book, by the way. I'm trying to put
Mhm.
together all these things that I've learned and condense it into a little tiny book. So it's difficult, but I'm trying to get that all together so that other people can maybe learn what I've learned,
Yeah.
through it. But it's just
Yeah.
so much, honestly. Um,
Yeah, yeah, it's I mean it's a lifetime, you know, it's a lifetime
yeah.
of stuff. And I appreciate you mentioning your book. Uh I didn't want to mention it with, you know, without I wanted you to mention it, obviously. That's exciting. And
Oh yeah.
how long have you been working on that? And when do you or do you have like a date that you're trying to like a goal, or are you just gonna let it develop as it naturally goes?
So what I had to do is like all of my scryings that I've done for 26 years, right? I've written out in little journals. So I had all these journals, no dates, no like I couldn't tell which journal was which and in what order. There were just a bunch of journals of scryings, and
Wow.
I had no intention of sharing it with anybody, and it was like maybe 2 3 years ago Hecate was telling me it's time to share what you learned. And I was like, I don't want to. And she's just like, because these are my personal journals. And
Mhm.
she's like, no, you need to share what you learned. And then she taught me that by sharing it, people can take that knowledge that maybe they never considered before. It's never been released before. People don't know about and can build on it. And, even if they question it, it's still building something new, where I think we've been very stagnant in the spiritual community and we've
Mhm.
only learned so much. And that really the only way to learn more is through spiritual connection, spirit connection. So I feel
Mhm.
like I got that and I was privileged to be able to do it. So now it's kind of a responsibility almost for me to share it. So I'm trying to take all those journals and
Hold on
bring it
one
down.
second.
Oh, sure.
Sorry, my
No, it's
daughter
okay.
came in.
Is it
Um,
okay?
yeah, yeah, no,
Okay.
she's on speaker with
Oh,
her friend.
okay.
Yeah, no,
No
it's
problem.
fine. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
That's a really good point about the community. I like what you're saying about that too, because I know we've also had conversations, and you're like, I don't think people are ready to hear that. People tell me that a lot about things that I want to like teach or share or whatever. And I've had to really take a step back and go, okay, these are very personal things that it's like a collective should know, right? That the spirits want the collective to know. However, unless people are ready to embark down that journey, I have no business like just doling it out.
True.
They're not going to receive it if they're not ready to receive it.
Right. Well, and again, people will come or will hear it who are meant to hear it.
Right.
And so,
Right.
and will be able to receive it. You might,
Yes.
yeah. So I don't know if you have to worry about that, but I also don't think maybe it's not for you to share your personal stuff. You have to follow with what you're taught on that, or what you
Yeah.
believe is right. Like if you don't feel, you worked hard for what you learned, why give it to someone who hasn't worked hard for it?
Right.
Right?
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
And I've had to do a lot of, discernment with that one too, is like only saying so much, right? And then like allowing them the space to develop that on their own, which I feel is extremely important for people to be empowered, especially spiritually, is to find their own way.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's hard for me personally when I get like visions of something that's on a global or universal scale and wanting to, share that is like I'm being told to share that. And you're right. It's like you'll find the people who are supposed to connect with those messages and things like that. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think what you're doing is very it's not like a common art form, you know. I don't
Right.
know many people that do anything outside of like maybe, mediumship, card reading, astrology, which is they're all amazing, but
Yeah.
I really feel drawn towards your craft because it's very specific and it is a communion with spirits. There's no other way to like
Right.
do it. You can't, you
Yeah.
know.
They're like my friends and family now.
Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, totally, totally. Well, I'll just gotta ask you a couple more questions and then I will let you go for the rest of the day.
Okay, fair enough.
That's okay.
Sure.
Um, let's see. What do I want to ask you? If you, well, you've kind of touched on that. And you just mentioned that too. But let me ask you this: have you been able to meet with a lot of the people that you've done scrying for? Have you met them, or is it mostly all virtual? And is it
Um,
something you would like to do more of? Like, would you like to get connected to more people, or is this something that you're like good with the pace you're at?
no, I think it's time actually to open it up more and to have other people yeah, absolutely. I'm opening it up for other people if you want
Okay,
us crying. Absolutely. um,
great.
yeah, so it's always interesting and I've recently been doing different, other types of readings with the Akashic records
I was
reading.
going to ask you, that was my
Yeah.
other question was,
Oh,
do you want
sorry.
to speak on that real quick about your,
It's
those readings? Yeah.
it's super new. Basically in the last I think 3 weeks ago, I had a vision and I basically landed in front of this awesome building structure. It was kind of on the side of a mountain. It looked like it was built out of the mountain, but it also had very, you know, direct lines that made it look like it was a building too. So it wasn't just the side of the mountain. It was
Mm,
constructed,
wow. Yeah.
it looked like a temple basically because it had the long columns and the stairs and then when you looked up at this building it just went up forever and it had these little alcoves I call them in the side of the building and they didn't have glass in them. They were just like these little cutout and they weren't like even. They were kind of one here, one here, one here. And I can imagine that at one time they had statues in them, like you know, and
Okay.
yeah, like, and I don't know why they didn't now, but I think at one time they had statues in these little alcoves that were all around. And I didn't know where I was. I kind of land places. I wind up places, and I don't know what's
Yeah.
going
Sure.
on. So, and there were people around me when I landed, like I called my angel in because I didn't know where I was. So, and the people they left, it was kind of a feeling of, well, she can stay kind of feeling. So I was like, oh, okay. And then I saw above the structure. So I think my angel took me up there. And then from above, it just went so deep. Like it just went on and on. And I was like, what is this place? And I just heard the Hall of Records pop into my head. So that came to me, and I came back and I was like, what just happened with that? So I asked my spiritual community, my friends, what they thought. And so I feel like it was an Akashic record reading, or Akashic records where they're held. And
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even know what that was. So I had to look it up. I had to ask a lot of questions. But then I was just like, well, I'm just going to try it because this is what I do. Yeah, let's give it a wing. Let's try it out. Let's see what happens. And so I did my own reading, an Akashic Records reading. And I first had to get back there because I'm like, I don't know how to get to where I was. I just landed there.
Mm-hmm.
And so I used my mirror because that's my tool, right? So I opened it up and I asked my HGA, that's my angel, to help me. And I was the first time I was able to astral, like on purpose,
Oh,
because
okay.
I astral at night without knowing
Mm-hmm.
how I got there or
Mm-hmm.
knowing how, I've never
Yeah.
really focused in an astral, but I can do this now with the help of my angel. She basically yanks me out through the mirror and until we get to the Hall of Records. And then you go in and you're like in this beautiful library, and it's just amazing, like, and it changes every time I've been in there. It's a little bit different, like it seems to, like, and there's these people I call the librarians.
Mm-hmm.
So this and the, I hate to say this, and I don't know, so I feel like spirits come to you however you can take them.
Yes, yes, I
However
agree.
you, so I
Yeah.
see these women, like those women from Star Wars, those they were really tall women, and they were
Mm.
all like fluid, they look alien kind of shaped. I think kind of grayish looking, maybe not like a gray, like a lighter gray. And I don't know, very elegant, super tall. And, that was the
Mm-hmm.
librarian. and so I would ask her, do you have my record? She said, well, let's see here. And I basically go into this little room and she brings out a book and I open it. And then once I open it, it's kind of like watching a movie, or you find a strand, you find something. I asked to find something that will help me now in my life. And it takes you, and you basically either go back or I think you can go forward. Like I haven't really explored, but
Mm-hmm.
I think you could do a lot. So,
Mm-hmm.
and it takes you down this strand and you follow this strand and it tells the story. And it's like watching a movie. And I see all these details and I learn all this stuff. And then I see how it connects to now. It's amazing. And so I just started doing these, and I asked for guinea pigs and they all showed up for me. So
Mm-hmm.
I've been able to practice and done quite a few of them now. But I mean, it's just so amazing that these things actually are a thing.
Yeah. 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 Especially when like you're so confident in, what you're doing and it's so valid, right? And then you have like other people who've also, you know, done the work in different ways, but like, the Akashic field is something that's, I'd say, like much newer to more people, you know,
Yeah.
but the fact that you just like went right in, I love that so much. And it's really fascinating. It's so incredibly fascinating. And I'm gonna have to get you read mine. I've never had anybody read mine. Like I've
Yeah, that'd
gone
be great.
there many times, but not read.
Oh
And
yeah.
it's ooh, I have the chills. Just okay. All right. I guess that we're supposed to do that.
I guess you'll do that then. Yeah, right.
Okay. We'll plan that. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, so cool.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have your email and your Facebook? Do you want to share those with people who, if anybody wants to get
Sure.
out in touch?
So I have my Facebook page called Black Mirror Scrying. So you're welcome to come on there if you're interested in the scrying. Or you could even go to my regular page. It's Debbie Knuth on Facebook. That's Knuth. I also have an email. You're welcome to just email me if you're interested, and I can, connect you that way. That's dlknuth777 at gmail.com. So I can certainly connect you that way. The Akashic readings are $20, which is very cheap. And
Mm-hmm.
and it's
Mm-hmm.
not they're not really long readings because I follow one strand and I am kind of new at it. So I'll give you that forewarning. And then the scryings are $50 for a reading. And with that you'll get an email. You always have, like, I have all of mine that I pull up, and what I found with the scryings, you'll pull them up, out of the blue, and it's true for that day. Like they work that way.
So now I don't do scrying, but
Yeah.
did a lot of like dream journals because I do a lot of work and I think we've talked about this too, right? So you do astral travel and we do so much work in our dream space. I have journal like so many dream journals and I tell people, I've told a couple of people this, like I've opened up to read it like years later and it's exactly what I'm going like
Yeah.
whatever's happening right
Yeah.
there.
They
So
work
it's
that way. Mhm.
yeah, yeah. It's
So
so amazing. Yeah, you're awesome. I'm so grateful that you came and spent this time with me today.
I appreciate
And
you letting me talk.
oh yeah,
And to
yeah,
share. Thank you
yeah.
so
Thank
much.
you. Yeah, you're welcome. And maybe we can do this again sometime after maybe you want to come back and talk more Akashic records or whatever. We'll make
Sure.
that happen.
Okay, that
So,
sounds good. I
yeah.
wish you luck in everything you're doing
Thank
and
you.
your jewelry
Thanks.
line and all that.
Oh
That's
yeah,
awesome.
I know. I feel like I just like with school, I just everything was over and now I'm like, So I have
Right.
all this creative energy that's been like very stifled and
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
it's
Time to
coming
let
out.
it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So thank you.
All right.
But all right.
You're
Well, I will talk to you soon and I'll get in touch with
okay.
you about the reading.
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay.
Okay.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much, Debbie. Have a good one.
You
Bye.
too.
Thanks.
Goodness, I don't know how to
I know. I have to do that too.